Have you ever been reading the Gospels and wondered, what happened to Joseph? At the start of the story, he's everywhere. He's the strong, silent guardian. He listens to angels in his dreams, bravely protects Mary, and gives Jesus his name, his home, and his heritage in the line of King David. Joseph is the one who leads the Holy Family to Bethlehem, then guides them on the dangerous journey to Egypt, and finally settles them safely in Nazareth. He is the very picture of a faithful father and husband, but then, just like that, he's gone. When Jesus starts his public ministry, Joseph is nowhere to be found. We don't see him standing in the crowds during the miracles. We don't hear his voice among the disciples as Jesus teaches. Most poignantly, we don't see him at the foot of the cross. The Bible doesn't even mention his death. It's as if the story just turns a page and Joseph is no longer on it. So where did he go? The Gospels, while silent about his death, actually give us some pretty strong clues. The last time we see Joseph clearly in the narrative is during the famous story of 12-year-old Jesus in the temple in Jerusalem. Remember that? Mary and Joseph are frantically searching for him. After that dramatic moment, Joseph is never again shown as an active character in Jesus' life. Think about what people say later on. When Jesus begins his ministry and returns to his hometown of Nazareth, the townspeople are surprised. They ask, "Isn't this the carpenter?" Or sometimes they say, "Isn't he the son of Mary?" In that culture, a man would normally be identified by his father as the son of Joseph. The fact that they refer to Jesus by his trade or his mother's name is a very strong cultural indicator that Joseph was no longer alive. The head of the household was gone. Now, fast forward to the most heart-wrenching moment of the story, the crucifixion. As Jesus hangs on the cross, in one of his final acts, he looks down and sees his mother, Mary, and the disciple John. He says to Mary, "Woman, behold your son," and to John, "Behold your mother." In that moment, he entrusts the care of his mother to his beloved disciple. In Jewish law and custom, this would be a deeply significant act. A son would only do this if his mother's husband, Joseph, was already deceased, and she had no other sons to care for her. This is perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence. Jesus is fulfilling his duty as the eldest son to ensure his widowed mother is cared for. All these details, when pieced together, paint a very clear picture. The most likely scenario is that Joseph died sometime between Jesus' 12th birthday and the beginning of his public ministry around age 30. Historically, this makes perfect sense. Life in first-century Galilee was not easy. It was a life of hard manual labor. For a carpenter, a craftsman like Joseph, life expectancy was not what it is today. The daily grind of physical work, the risk of accidents, and the prevalence of illness meant that many men did not live to an old age. It's very plausible that Joseph simply died from illness, exhaustion, or one of the many hazards of ancient life. If Joseph did die during Jesus' young adulthood, think about what that would mean. As the eldest son, the responsibility for the family, for his mother Mary, and any younger siblings would have fallen directly onto Jesus' shoulders. He would have taken over the family carpentry business, providing for them, leading them. This could very well explain why Jesus waited until he was about 30 years old to begin his public mission. He was fulfilling his sacred family duties first. honoring his earthly father's legacy by caring for the family he left behind. But the story of Joseph's disappearance isn't just a historical puzzle. It carries a profound spiritual meaning. From the very first chapter of the Gospels, the narrative is crystal clear about one thing: God is the true father of Jesus. Joseph is a real, loving, and incredibly faithful earthly father, but he is not the ultimate source of Jesus' life or his mission. He is a guardian, a protector, a teacher. As Jesus grows from a boy into a man, the focus of the story naturally and intentionally shifts. It moves from his earthly family life in Nazareth to his divine relationship with his Father in heaven. Joseph's quiet fading from the story is a beautiful, humble act of making way for this greater truth. He steps out of the spotlight so that the divine light of Jesus' relationship with the Father can shine without any confusion. Joseph's role, while absolutely essential, was temporary. He was the guardian of the seed, the protector of the promise. He protected the child, he obeyed God without question, and he gave Jesus a firm place in human history and community. Once that foundational work was complete, his part in the story was done, and he gracefully faded from view. Joseph is a powerful teacher of hidden faithfulness. Think about it. He is a central figure in the Christmas story, yet the Bible records not a single word he ever spoke. Not one. His legacy is not in his speeches, but in his actions. His obedience shapes the entire course of salvation history. He teaches us that God sees and deeply values quiet, humble service. He shows us the power of obedience without needing applause or recognition. His life is a testament to a faith that is so strong, it is willing to step aside when God's plan needs to move to the next stage. Joseph doesn't disappear from the Bible because he failed or because he was unimportant. He disappears because he fulfilled his mission perfectly. He served faithfully. He obeyed completely. And then he trusted God enough to let the story continue without him, knowing that the child he raised was in the hands of his true father. His silence speaks volumes about his incredible faith and humility. If this video touched your heart, please subscribe to the channel Father Jesus. Like this video and share it with someone who needs hope today. Now, comment your city name so we can pray for you and your family by name. Your comment is not just a comment. It is a prayer request. We are praying for you. God bless you. Amen.